Chaos has erupted in the streets of Cairo yet again after President Mohamed Morsi expanded his executive powers last week. President Morsi's decree orders the dissolving of the judiciary, which is mostly made up of former regime judges, and the retrial of former dictator Hosni Mubarak, his officials and others accused of killing Egyptians during the revolution. The measures safeguard the mostly constituent assembly dominated by Islamists, excluding the liberal and secular members who withdrew from the process. It also grants the same protection for the Sharia Council, Parliament's upper body, also dominated by the Islamists. The announcement came after President Morsi brokered a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas following Israel's violent bombardment of the Gaza Strip last week. Hailed internationally as a rising star in the Arab world after the truce was initiated, Morsi is being condemned at home as Egypt's new dictator. Immediately, protests erupted nationwide over the decision. Outside the High Court, clashes went on for hours between the police forces and demonstrators as Egypt's top judges called for a nationwide strike. Joining the opposition to Morsi, former presidential candidates, political parties, and multiple organizations. Unrest against Morsi's decree spread to Muslim Brotherhood strongholds throughout Egypt, like this one in Bahira. Protesters, mostly Islamists, are heard chanting slogans from Egypt's uprising last year. By Sunday, Egypt's stock market plummeted as a result of the announcement. President Morsi claims his orders are to protect the revolution and expedite a political process that time and time again has been halted by the judiciary and bickering members drafting the constitution. In June, the Constitutional Court dissolved the Islamist-dominated lower body of parliament and limited the powers of the executive branch. In response to popular condemnation, Morsi says the decree will be lifted after the constitution is drafted and determined through a national referendum. Egypt, now hailed for its elections under military rule, is facing a volatile political upheaval. Islamists have come out criticizing the president, including one of his relatives, Ahmed Fahmy, a Brotherhood member and the chairman of the Sharia Council. Other prominent Muslim brothers have also voiced their opposition to Morsi's decision. On the streets, during the week-long battles in downtown Cairo, the same weaponry used during the military council and the Mubarak regime is still being used on protesters. One demonstrator was shot to death with buckshot last week during the commemoration of the Mohammed Mahmoud street battles that claimed the lives of over 45 Egyptians last year. Despite promised reforms, protesters battling the despised Egyptian police force insist they face the same brutality they experienced during the military council's transitional period and the Mubarak regime. Since the decree was issued on Thursday, thousands have been camping out in the iconic Tahrir Square, vowing to remain there until the president lifts his orders. Massive protests have been called for Tuesday, while the Muslim Brotherhood mobilized its supporters to hold rival demonstrations in support of the president. The latest fiasco is seen as yet another setback in Egypt's prolonged and violent transitional period. Chant reporting for The Real News.